All right, here we are stretching fixed knot. So it's a high tensile woven wire. I'm having trouble stripping these. Knots. I need a better pair of cutters with me. I saw on YouTube how a guy did it. You cut this vertical stay wire out right here at the knot. It pulls out. You're supposed to take pliers and squeeze them, and they can strip them. So I did a absolutely horrible job tying it on the end post, but I think it's going to hold while I stretch it because I'm going to staple it. These come with these grapples nowadays, so you're supposed to strip it, and it just took me, I did it on the opposite end. This is about a 1,200 foot line. It just took forever, but the grapples do work good. If you could strip this really good, wrap it around the post and insert it in those grapples, it works good. I don't stretch a lot of woven wire, not an expert at it. I'm a run and gun guy with high tensile, but this is what we got. It is high tensile, there you go, 12.5 gauge fixed knot. Beckert, I thought I was going to say what wire it was. It doesn't say. Okay. All right, but 70-inch woven. 10-foot post. Could have definitely gone taller post. They're 10 foot, which, you know, the corners, if you want them in 4 foot, you got 70-inch, couple inches off the ground. I want a 3 to 4 inch gap here because I want to put hot wire. I kind of should have gone with a little bit taller post, maybe a 12-foot post. Hey, fencing supplies, you can't barely get them now. If you're doing a lot of fencing, I mean, we're getting set up for a complete collapse of supply chain infrastructure. I've been waiting for a week for an alternator for my orange truck, and now I'm having to take it in and get it rebuilt. FedEx, UPS, they don't guarantee anything. If I was going to do a lot of woven wire, I'd make something to unroll better, but this is a bale spear for one of my tractors. So I get the wire on there vertically and ratchet strapped it to the skid steer. And I think I did mess up putting this horizontal strut up too high. You say you're supposed to have it about 2/3 the height of the top wire on the fence, I believe. If you put these too high, they will somewhat act like, when you see these at the top, they will act to lift these posts out of the ground. And you'll see on those floating braces, I have it quite a bit lower on the angle floating brace. If you put that angle brace at the top, when you tighten up that brace wire that pulls this way, it lifts up. You can see in my last video where I put up close what happens to the post as it rocked back. It also did lift up a slight amount. So I'm almost wondering, you know, I think that's why it's better tighten up your brace wire before you really tamper these posts correctly and set them back down, you know, before you completely get done setting them in and tampering. Well, trying to stretch it all the way to this other H brace I made. So 330 foot, or what is that, 16 and a half, or no, how many rod fence? 16 and a half rods, 33 foot, I mean 330. So this worked pretty good. I had to zigzag between a few fence posts over here, and I had to pull a fence post out. And I guess, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything in says you can't? So I had to zigzag here, see? I'm on this side of this post because I wasn't going to fit the skid steer here. Probably should have planned ahead, but again, I don't stretch a lot of this stuff. Did pull a post out. I was able to pull out by hand. We had a hard time tampering these because they filled up with water. Before we were done drilling, they filled up with water. So I'll take that post and actually, I should be able to push that back in. is what I'm hoping. I'm just trying to stand it up a little bit here. Once you unroll it all the way, this high tensile, because it's high tensile, it's not cold rolled steel, the whole thing is springy, just like high tensile, you know, smooth single strand wire. The whole, if you let loose that end, it'll all go flinging and rolling on back. The advantage of this high tensile is that you use about half the post that you need with the, you know, the cold wire. So I'm gonna have to get the fence stretcher over here, get it clamped down, hook it to the Bobcat. I'll have it come along as a go-between, and then I'll see if I can pull it tight enough to get to the end of this. Yeah, so I did not feel comfortable tying all the wire together at one time. The guy I got the wire from said he would splice all those rolls together and do one stretch. So I basically did an H-brace where each roll would end, and also where there's a bend. So there's going to be a bend right here, so I did another H-brace. Well, got the fence stretcher on. I got this from the guy we got the fence from. He's letting us borrow it. I've always just made my own stretcher, you know. Don't have enough chains with me, so I'm using a ratchet strap. So I've got it partially tightened up, but I'm gonna walk the fence line and make sure it's just not kinked. I mean, you know how it is with the woven wire. Here it's down on the ground, binding against the ground, so I don't know if I'm gonna get a bend here or not. You can see the result here of not properly getting these even. It's tight down here already, and I haven't even tightened up the come along. It's real tight, but loose here. So it must be, it's a lot easier to tighten those wires when you get more of the horizontals as you get closer to the bottom. And when you get up on top here, because I noticed a couple of my fences I stretched, this was a little bit looser. This is real loose yet. Of course, I haven't tightened up the fence yet. I'm going to fix this while I'm here. All right, that's tight. I'll show you another type of brace. Had a few people comment on it. So you can use a floating brace. You do not need an H-brace to do woven wire. That's 70-inch high wire. It's a couple inches off the ground, so that fence is about 72, 74 inches. And you can see this brace is holding up just fine.